Welcome back to part 2 of my conversation with the amazing Sarah Panus. I'm Sami Galbo from Mommy is Thriving. Before we dive in, I'm so excited to share a special gift from our sponsor, OneThrive. We've created beautiful, functional wall organizers to help families keep everything in one place. And for a limited time, just for my Mommy is Thriving listeners, we have an exclusive offer. When you purchase any wall organizer and use code SAMI25 at checkout, you'll get a 5-pack of magnetic to-do lists absolutely free. So you can take your wall organizer on the go. But hurry, this special is only available to the first 50 listeners who grab it. Now let's jump back into this heart-filled conversation with Sarah. See you soon, Mama. But for you, like that changing of your perspective and finding that inner strength, like what assumptions did you have before becoming a solopreneur and diving full-fledged into that? Like, were there like limiting beliefs and values that you thought that you would have beforehand, and then you kind of changed the way that you had to think about that in order to kind of move forward and become that best version of yourself and that best CEO of your own brand?
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm thinking back to what it was like because I've had so many
No, it's
shifts
so
through the
long.
years. Gosh. I think like I was ready to be the entrepreneur at the point because I had already started my consulting business pre-COVID and dabbled in it as a side hustle. But it's interesting because I'm the entrepreneur that never ever thought she'd be an entrepreneur. I never wanted it before. I never did. I liked the security of someone else and the regular paychecks and the benefits and all that. So I really like that. And plus, I wanted to learn from others around me to help advance myself too, which I did. So I think I think that was surprising to me when I was like, wait, do I actually want to run my own business now? And again, it was another shift in my life as a mom, as a person too, where I wanted to have more flexible schedule, to have more flexibility with my kids and their different school activities and things. And I was like, I feel like this is a great way to try to do all of it. Let's see. And I always give myself runways too, Sami. So like this could be something for folks. If you're scared of something, like I give myself a runway and I'll say, okay, well, I'm going to try this for a year. If it doesn't work, I'll go back to corporate. Like that's okay, right? Chalk it up as lived and learned experience, and I'll look for a job from someone else. So, and I did that with my podcast when I first started marketing with empathy years ago. I was like, I'm going to do this for a year and see what I learned from it. I started a second podcast. I just launched it a few months ago called Keep Kids Safe. That's very different, not marketing related at all. And then same thing. I'm like, I'm going to do this for a year and see what I learn from it. So a year is kind of like a nice for like big things. I feel like it gives me enough a time to assess if it's good or not. Sometimes your runway may be like 3 months. You're like, let's see what this happens. Like we'll give this a quarter and we'll see what happens. If it doesn't, we shift. So there's all these scenarios. So it takes some of that pressure off because it's not like you're pressuring that you have to do this for the rest of your life. So I just really look at it now as it's all an experimentation. Life is just about experimenting on things, and we get different data points that help us learn information along the way. And is this good? Is this not good? Is it working? Is it not? Right. And then we go like from based on that. So that was a huge thing because I used to be such a perfectionist when I worked in corporate, and everything had to be just so. And part of that was because that was the expectation within the environment, all the reports and just everything, right? Had to be just so. And I've very different now with my own business where I've learned you get a lot more traction out of it. It's not about perfection. You need to take action. It needs to be smart and informed. But now I'm not trying to make everything 100% perfect before I get it out into the world because I've learned painfully so. Like I've wasted a lot of time on projects and courses and webinars and different things that I've created that nobody bought and nobody attended. And I'm like, goodness, I should have just promoted the idea and seen if anyone was interested. And then if they signed up, then created it. I've learned that. That's like this entrepreneur mindset of like, okay, see if people are interested first before you put so much time into making something. It's just a different approach. And it just protects your time so much more, which as moms, gosh, aren't we so busy doing things all the time? So anything I can kind of soft sound now, I love that approach because it just helps me manage things a little bit better.
I love that. I love that you kind of take like the scientific approach into life and like that it is all kind of an experiment and
Mhm.
figure it out and like you have an overarching thesis that you like figure out and then your hypothesis is X, but you never know if that's going to happen and my brain totally works that way, so I totally get it. I love your like 1 year timeline. I think for me like I focus very like I'm very narrow with my focus. So like me, more 3 months, 6 month, nine
Mhm.
month, 1 year, like that's kind of the way my executive functioning needs to be, just because
Mhm.
I'm very short-term focused. Just because I think right now, because my kids are so little and everything else, I feel like right now I can only focus in the next 3 months. Like that's kind of where I
Yeah.
am because everything's changing so fast. Like my kids are 4 and 6. Like it's a different world. Like 3 months from now, we're going to be somewhere totally different than we are today. Like I have one starting first grade, I have one starting pre-K. Like 3 months down the road, like that's going to be a totally different situation. They're going to be fully fletched in first grade and pre-K and knowing all the things and doing all the activities and everything else. So for me, like though that's the way I have to kind of work in my life where I'm
Mhm.
kind of more short term, but I love kind of the business aspect of being more long term and kind of being like, okay, I can succeed and fail many times within a year, but let's see what it looks like after a year and kind of really understand that. And having that belief in of yourself is
Mhm.
huge.
Mhm.
Um, Talk to me a little bit about your executive functioning because I know you said you are so organized and everything else. How does
Yeah.
that work in your home, in your mom life, right? Like I know so much in your business you are very structured and everything else. But I know so many of us struggle with bringing that into home and our mom
Mhm.
life and how we parent and live with our kids and spouse and all of that. How do you stay grounded during all of that chaos?
Okay. So, yeah, gosh, like to like help functioning at home, like my work and personal life collide because everything's under one roof. Everything's here in my house. I work from home. And so, a couple of things like work wise that really helped me is one, I created like the CEO weekly setup sheet. It's just a one pager and it allows me to, write in what am I going to focus on each week, and I fill that out like the Friday before the week, and it's outlined according to like what are my goals for my business so that I'm spending time moving the needle on the things that matter, because I've learned in the past that wasted a lot of busy work time on things that didn't matter. And so I love this idea of like the CEO list. And even if you aren't the CEO of your business, right, but it helps us all stay focused, and I have areas for personal and for business items on that one. In addition, I love that I have like this section called the to-do list, which is TWO, the two things this week that I have to accomplish no matter what. So it really keeps me extra, extra focused to make sure, okay, if it's Friday and I still have one of those main two things to do, well, I'm spending Friday doing that last thing, that I have to get done this week. It keeps you accountable. I also use ClickUp to help me organize like my to-dos and things for larger projects that have a lot of steps, so that project management tools like that help keep me really organized, in addition to my Outlook calendar and putting blocks of time for things that I know I need to do. I also love batching time. So if I know, for example, with my podcast, if I know I have batch times of when I record and when I edit my podcast, so that it frees up other days for other things. Or with specific client work, I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to focus on this client all day today versus another client another day. It just helps me balance that. And then personally with my family, every Sunday, we during one of the meals will I'll start a conversation and be like, okay, well, what's coming up this week, or this week we have X, Y, and Z, and so I'll bring those things up for my kids, for my husband. Daddy's out of town traveling because he travels a lot for work this week. So then, okay, kids, what do you want to eat this week? Right, like I have those conversations. So I've tried to just like however we can like talk ahead so people aren't as surprised. It also helps me think about what's coming down the pike the next week and then the week after. So really 2 weeks out, I like to look so I don't get surprised by, oh crud, there's like this school thing and I volunteered to donate whatever, so I can make sure I buy stuff in advance, or whatever it may be. And then I've also, and this is super minor, but it's helped me recently, I've also started getting my groceries. I do Walmart pickup for my groceries because I love grocery shopping actually. And I spend too much time in the grocery store. I've realized this about myself, and then I always spend too much money. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna I use the Walmart app for my groceries as like my shopping list. And so anytime I need something, I'll drop it into the cart. And then every week I do groceries, and then I put it through, and then I drive up and pick them up. It keeps me out of the store, and I'm not spending a lot of extra time, and I'm not spending a lot of extra money on groceries. Little things like that, right? So I've been finding out these like little ways here and there of how I can save time and money and prevent chaos within our family dynamic, balancing work and family.
I love that. I love that. The balance of the work and the family. I mean, I was going to say, like, do you find now that you work from home, you are the CEO of your business as well as your home. And so how do you balance that? Like, are you like work off, family on? Like, are you that type of person? Or are you kind of like, no, I can kind of meld everything together and be present and still be, because I mean, when you own your own business and you are a solopreneur, like, you're at always on, right? Like you are on when you say you're on, right? So
Yeah.
talk to me a little bit about how you balance being a business owner and being a present mom at the same time, especially,
Mhm.
in between, right? Like the summer breaks and the things like that. Like how do you do both?
Yeah, I know, right? How does any of us do both? We figure it out as we go along. For
Exactly.
me,
Because we're
it's about I definitely blend the two because like right now I know as we're recording this, it's summer, and my kids are home with me all summer while I'm working. And this has been trial and error over the last several summers of kind of finding the right balance with this. I have a whiteboard, and we have a section for each of my kids and then me, and I'll write down like the key things I want them to accomplish that day. And then I have my section so they know when I'm in meetings, when I'm unavailable, and they know if the doors behind me in my office are closed, they cannot come in. Like that means mommy's in doing business, do not come in. So, and then like the night before, like last night before we recorded this, I said, okay, mommy's got a podcast interview in the morning, do not come into the office when so I just like emphasize things. So I set my guardrails, I guess, my boundaries of like, okay, this is okay. Not, I remember when they were really young, I literally had to tape like a piece of paper to the outside of the door and said, do not enter, because like at like low to at their level. So they knew, oh yeah, because I had so many times where we would just barge in. So that's been learned over time.
It's like you were the
Um,
guy on CNN whose kid just came in,
yes,
like with no
that's
pants on.
hilarious.
Like those were my favorite COVID moments because it was
I
like
know.
so real. Like that's what we were all dealing with, right? Like
Yes.
I always had a toddler come into my office during any Zoom meeting. It could have been with any big client or something. Like I worked a lot with QVC and HSN. And when I kid you not, they were like, "Oh, look, it's baby Winnie." I was like, "Yes, it's baby Winnie." Like
Yeah.
she would just be part of my meetings.
Totally. And that's, I mean, I don't I'm a mom obviously, so I'm all like, that's life. Like if your kid needs to sit, I had a client once who had just had a baby. She was literally on maternity leave and we were still working together on something. She had to breastfeed her baby. I didn't see anything, but she's like, "Is it okay if I feed my baby?" She covered herself up. I'm like, "Yeah, of course your baby needs to eat." Like her husband had to bring the baby in to feed it. I'm like, "Nope, that's totally fine." And I think that's such the superhero-ness of moms. Like we're pretty incredible. We can do a lot of different things. But, for me, it's about, I guess, essentially blocking the time. So I'll be like, "Okay, this is mommy's work time," and then I'll find breaks where like for lunch, we'll have lunch together each day. I'll find those moments to obviously come out of my office and interact and engage with them. So, I have a 10-year-old daughter, 13-year-old son. My teenager is much more fine with just kind of being on his own. He probably appreciates that I'm not like hanging around him all the time. My 10-year-old wants to spend more time with me, my daughter, right? So I have to make sure I find those moments. Or like when I'm not on a call, open the door and she can come in and hang out in the office with me, but she just needs to know I'm working. Like this is work time too. So for me, it's just a balance of blocking different times. Or if we're walking the dog, cool. Let's like this is family time. Like let's all walk it together and like we can chat and have this conversation now before I gotta hop back on. And then I'm also really clear with them, like, okay, I'm working until this time. So then they know it's not like I'm in my office like all the time. They know, okay, well, mom's done at this time and then I'll get her. So it's not, they're not thinking I'm ignoring them, which is always a concern of mine. I don't want them to feel like I'm ignoring them.
I know, right? Isn't that like the whole thing? Like we're always afraid that like our kids feel a certain way or anything. So no, that's so great that they understand the time blocks and everything else, and that works for you guys.
Mhm. It helps that they're older too, it's different than when they're really little versus as they get older, because now my bigger concern is, while I'm working, are they just off watching YouTube all day? Like, or something that's not productive, or that I'm worried about what they're gonna see online. That's the different mental shift of, okay, so that's why I give them like this list of, here's what I need you to accomplish today. Don't veg out on the couch while I'm like in work meetings and things. I need you to, and we'll talk about it over lunch. Okay. So it's just another layer of parenting.
Right. There's so many layers of parenting. We could talk about those for
Mm-hmm.
like 3 hours or more or forever. But what is one thing that you wish someone had told you about motherhood before you became a mom? I feel like that's a good question. I feel like there's so many things about momming that I wish.
I know I have several. Can I give more than one?
Of course. Of course. Tell me all the things. All the things.
Yeah. Okay. So, because I have several, I think I wish someone had told me that motherhood was like really awesome and really hard, and sometimes in the same hour, like just like kind of level setting. And I knew that, but like when you really go through it, you don't know it till you go through it. It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It just means you're human. Okay. So that'd be like the first thing I would say. I also wish I had kind of someone emphasized that it was okay to drop like the June Cleaver version of what it means to be a mom and a wife. My mom was a stay-at-home mom and had everything clean and cooked and everything. We lived on a farm. It was incredible. So I grew up with June Cleaver, you guys, and I love my mom. She's amazing. But that made me feel like I also had to do that while also working and just, everything outside the home in addition. So there's just so many facets. So you won't always have the answers. Your house won't always be clean. Dinner won't always be made. Clothes won't always be folded. Like, it's so normal. Okay. So just know that it's normal. Totally normal. And then also, I just kind of have realized like the most important thing is just being present with our kids. So it's okay. Like, we don't have to just shower them with love. Like, that's what they're going to remember. I have to like tell myself all the time. It's not the spotless kitchen or the Pinterest worthy party necessarily, right? It's like how we make them feel in the small moments in between. I think that's really important. Just like being present. Like, I noticed that with my daughter, especially when I can like sit with her and really look at her in the eye and she has my undivided attention. That means so much to her. And sometimes it's hard because we're distracted and we're like, oh, I have all these other things I need to do. But I just have to remind myself she needs me to just hone in and lock in on her right now and just like be with her. I would also say ask for help. Don't try to do it all alone. We are not weak for needing support. It's okay. I hated asking for help and support in the beginning, and I still do to some degree. So that's something I'm always actively working on because I think I can do it all. So that's, just being honest here, like that's something I always struggle with. And then my last one is that I've realized is with AI. Actually, if I had a new mom, and I was talking to her, I would say, if you ever have like a really tough conversation that you need to have with your kid or your partner, ChatGPT can be a great sounding board. I have asked it for help framing up conversations like, hey, this happened. I need you to act like my family therapist right now. And have Christian values because my faith is hugely important to me. And I'm like, help me think about how I can frame this up in a way that's going to be productive, and also help me think about maybe what kind of questions or pushback I'm going to get to help me again prep through like how this is going to go. And because there will come those moments where you have to have a really hard conversation that you're like, crap, I never wanted to have this conversation with them. I didn't think this would happen, but it will. And for me, I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing half the time, right? As a parent, we just figure this stuff out as we go along. And I've like miraculously found ChatGPT to be really helpful from that perspective of like, okay, that's actually a really great way of wording that. Like, I'm going to memorize that part and incorporate that into my talk. I just had to do that with my my teenager recently, and it was so helpful of how to have this really difficult conversation that I know I would have completely fumbled through before, but it ended really well. So that'd be my other thing. This is like a beauty of another way we can use AI to our benefit as kind of our little assistant to help us parent too.
I love that. I want to go use it right now. For us, the big conversation. So we just came up on the 3-year anniversary of my mom passing away, and
Mm.
my 6-year-old is very much the question one. He has every question. Like he has to be like a philosopher or something because he has more questions than any tiny human I've ever had in my life. But um, he's also my firstborn, so there's that too. But he's like, "Mommy, are there cars in heaven?" Sure, Brooks. There's car. Why do you ask, Brooks? Well, I want to know if Gaga has a car because I know she always wanted a red Mustang and she didn't get one while she lived on Earth. So I'm hoping that she has one in heaven. It's like,
That's sweet.
oh, questions, and I'm like, I think so. I hope she does.
Yeah.
Sure, and so yeah, so it's like all in the moments, you're like, I have no idea what to say, and I could ask 100 different religious people what their thought process on that would be, but like we just kind of figure it out, right? Like he is my child of hard questions. My little one, no hard questions yet, thank goodness. But the
Okay.
big
They'll come, right? Like it
one, and
shows that
hers,
their brains are working and processing the world, which is good.
right? And it'll be her questions will be so different than his, but
Mhm.
he's just very much like he's an old soul too, so it's just so interesting the things that come out of his mouth. But yeah,
Mm.
no, now I want to go ask ChatGPT all the questions that he asks me because they're incessant, especially at 9:30 at night. Those are usually when I get all of the questions of the world. Yes. Mhm.
Wait till they become teenagers because and I've talked with parents that have teens and older, and it's like, their circadian rhythms change, so they wanna stay up later at night, and it's interesting is your teen will come to you later in the evening, and that's when they finally wanna open up and talk, and I've just realized and I've learned and heard from other parents that have done this before me, it's like, be there. Like, if that's their time, it's okay if it's your bedtime, but if that's their moment when they wanna talk to you, then you let them talk. Because man, being a teenager in today's world is a lot different than it was when we were teenagers, just by the
Yeah,
evolution of so much stuff going on. Um, so it's like that's interesting. So I'm starting to see it now with my son. I notice he's a lot more open at night than he ever is in the morning. So I just, we evolve, we figure it out as we go along. But I love having AI as like my little sounding board. It doesn't mean it's the parent, obviously, but if it can give you a couple sentences that are awesome to say or questions to probe on, that helps me so much. Yeah, that use that. It's great.
I love that. I love that. I feel
Yeah.
like that's like such a big win right there. Like the to help you thrive even better is use the AI. Use all the AI and it'll help. Like even if it's just like no, it's not our therapist, but like it's just
Yes.
it's another person to talk off with, like there's some times
Yes.
during the day that I'm like, I wish I could just call my mom and ask her a question, and I don't have that. So I'm like, well, yes, I'm going to use ChatGPT as my mom sense sometimes,
Yeah. 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 And there's no shame in that. That's like a version of asking for help versus just staying isolated in our heads and thinking something through. Just remember to obviously apply your humanness to it because it is AI. So you take what makes sense to you and leave what doesn't, of course. But yeah, yeah, definitely been helpful for me.
I love that. I love that. I was just going to ask you what a recent small win was, but I feel like the AI one is really a big win. So, okay, tell me a small win that made you feel like you were thriving recently.
Um, I think, well, just this summer, I feel like it's been a good summer in terms of being able to work and balance the kid daily drop offs with my work. So I've been feeling pretty smart about that one where I'm like, yeah, I got this. I can drive them to this thing and then get back for my meeting. And just the balance of that juggle. It hasn't felt super chaotic because I didn't overextend the kids this summer either. So it just feels like a nice balance where I'm like, okay, I feel like we finally figured out the right flow to keep them having some fun things to do, but then also allow me to be able to continue to focus on my work. Since I work from home, I'm the one that ends up driving them. My husband works in an office, so he's not even here, right? So then that falls on me. And so he's kind of figuring that out.
Oh yeah, no, the pressure of overextending our children. Oh my gosh, the sign up for the extracurriculars and doing all of the things and that pressure. Man, I'm like
Yeah, I don't have it anymore. I'm like, screw it. COVID like really reshifted my thinking on that one. It's like, because kids don't thrive when they're too overextended, just like we don't either. So it's all about the balance for sure.
Love it. I love the balance. All right. So what would you say, Sarah, because you have found your power of the third choice, then you've made those decisions when you've been at that fork in the road. And what would you say to the mom listening who feels that they're really standing at that fork in the road with like only two directions to go and that power of the third choice? What would you say to them?
You are strong and powerful and resilient. Remember that. You've gotten yourself through other hard times in the past. You can figure this out, but you don't have to figure it out alone. Talk to someone else about it, because that's what helped me. It gave me perspective when I brought up just like how I was feeling and like my two options. What do you think? Do you think there could be a different scenario? Just like ask other people that you trust to give you feedback and help you see your blind spots. Like that's really, really helpful. And just even just asking yourself, is there a third choice I'm not thinking about here? Can just be so freeing and open up some things and listen to those limiting beliefs that you might be telling yourself in your head of why you can't do something, or why you don't want to try to do that thing. Cause it might give you a little push to observe that thought and to say, is this true? No, this isn't really true. Like I can work through this. And it just helps us sometimes to just understand that that thought is even there to help us overcome it.
We can do hard things, right? I feel like
Mhm.
that's the overarching
100%.
theme of our we can do it. We can do it.
Yes.
We are moms and
Yes.
we are power. And anything that we say we can't do is just us saying that we can't do it because we can do anything we put our mind to. Okay. I built a
Yeah, we're
swing this
stronger than we
year.
think we are.
I did it. Ugh. I am mom. Hear me
Yeah.
roar.
Yes.
Yes, yes, we can do it. No, I love it. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for this conversation today. I think that we definitely resonated with many a moms that are out there and many people that aren't moms, but just stumbled across our podcast and wanted to know more about the power of the third choice. And really, I think it was really eye-opening for me. I think that there are always more options than the ones that we create for ourselves. And sometimes you have to go talk to someone else so that you can recognize that other option. So I think that was really eye opening. And I really thank you for taking this time, Sarah. You are an amazing person and I love having you in my corner. So thank you so much. And thank you to all of our listeners. We all have work to do, but I think we all take this step in the right direction. And even if just listening to how we walk through our lives, I think that that can help just one person, right?
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah, mamas, let's keep thriving. You got this.
We got this. I think that is our overarching theme, right? We got this. And even when we don't got
Mhm.
this, we got this.
We'll
All
figure it
right.
out. Everything's figure outable, right? Like you'll figure it out.
Exactly. Exactly. And we can do it together as mamas. Power to the
Mhm.
mama. Well, thank you, Sarah. I respect the everything out of you. You are one strong mama, and you give me inspiration every day. So, thanks
Oh.
so much for all that you do in this space. And your podcast is fantastic. Sarah's podcast is Marketing with Empathy, and she does have her second podcast. What's that one called, Sarah?
Yeah, so that one's called Keep Kids Safe, which might apply to a lot of your listeners, which is all about helping. It's specifically geared towards helping Christian parents understand what the heck we can do to help keep our kids safe from like online exploitation and all the icky stuff that's going on in the world right now that we should just know about. So I have all these experts that come on and share so many different great tips, and each episode is super quick. They're less than 20 minutes. And you'll always walk away with an action step of something you should know about.
I love that. I love that. Definitely. This world of technology at our fingertips is a scary place, but
Mhm.
I love that you're doing your part to try and help keep our kids safe in that environment. So thank you so
Yeah.
much for all you do. You are amazing. I love you, mama, and we'll talk
Thank
soon.
you.
Thanks for listening,
Thank
everyone.
you.
All right, keep thriving. Bye now.